So, what if your garden could be more than just a hobby? I mean, what if it could become a self-sustaining ecosystem that actually feeds you all year round? Well, that is the powerful idea behind a food forest, and today we're going to explore exactly how you can build your own.
Let me ask you something. Are you tired of that endless cycle of weeding, watering, and tilling? Just imagine a beautiful, productive garden that pretty much takes care of itself. That's the incredible promise of designing a food forest.
So, what even is a food forest? Well, it's a completely revolutionary way to think about gardening. It's not just a collection of plants in neat little rows, it's an entire ecosystem. You're cultivating this dynamic community where all the plants work together, creating a super resilient, self-sustaining system.
And the benefits? They're huge. We're talking a continuous harvest throughout the year, way less work for you, and dramatically healthier soil. And beyond your plate, it creates a welcoming little habitat for birds and bees, and it's a real, meaningful step towards food independence, right in your own backyard.
When you put them side by side, the contrast is just stark. Conventional gardening often means high maintenance, and it can even strip the soil of nutrients over time. A food forest, on the other hand, is a self-mulching system. It holds onto moisture and actively builds rich, healthy topsoil. It's not just gardening, it's regeneration.
All right, ready to get your hands dirty? A thriving food forest doesn't just happen by accident. Nope, its long-term success really begins with a thoughtful, solid plan. And that plan really boils down to 3 core steps. First, you've got to understand your unique space and figure out how to best use it. Second, preparing the soil to create a vibrant foundation for all your plants. And third, designing smart water systems to make sure your garden absolutely thrives.
So step 1 is all about observation. Just watch your yard. Where does the sun travel during the day? Where does water pool up after it rains? What's your soil really like? Mapping all this out is absolutely key to placing your plants for optimal growth. So, your tall fruit trees won't shade out your sun-loving veggies.
Step 2 is foundational, and it's all about preparing your soil. Healthy soil is the lifeblood of a productive food forest. This isn't just dirt we're talking about. It's a complex, living ecosystem. You're going to want to enrich it with tons of compost and organic mulch to feed that whole web of life that will, in turn, feed your plants.
And step 3, managing water. The goal here is to work smarter, not harder. Things like drip irrigation deliver water right to the roots, which minimizes waste. Rainwater harvesting is an amazing resource. And creating swales, which are basically shallow trenches that follow the contour of the land, helps the landscape passively soak up and hold on to moisture. Okay, with our foundation all set, we can move on to the most creative part, developing these smart planting strategies that basically mimic the sheer genius of nature. The 7-layer system is just a brilliant strategy for stacking plants vertically. You get to use every single dimension of available space, from the tallest tree canopy all the way down to the roots growing underground. It's a design for maximum efficiency and abundance. See, all the layers work in harmony. You start with tall canopy trees, like apple or nut trees. Below that, you have a subcanopy of smaller dwarf fruit trees. Then comes a shrub layer for all your berries. The herbaceous layer holds things like culinary herbs and perennials, followed by edible ground covers. Below ground, of course, you've got your root crops. And finally, climbers like beans and cucumbers that just weave their way up through all the other layers. It's amazing.
Companion planting is another key strategy here. This is all about creating a little community of plants, a guild, that help each other thrive. For example, planting nitrogen-fixing beans near your fruit trees actually adds fertility to the soil naturally. It acts like a living fertilizer and really reduces your need for any outside inputs.
Succession planting. This is the technique that really unlocks that year-round harvest. Instead of planting everything at once, you just stagger it. You plant some lettuce, then a couple of weeks later, you plant some more. Then, when you harvest that first batch, you can pop something new in its place. This makes sure you never have empty, unproductive garden beds.
And for true long-term sustainability, you really want to prioritize perennials. These are the powerhouse plants that come back year after year without any replanting. Think asparagus, rhubarb, all those berries. It just means less work for you and a more reliable, established harvest over time.
So once your garden is planned and planted, your role kind of shifts from builder to steward. A food forest isn't some static project. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that evolves and thrives through all the seasons.
And yes, a food forest can thrive even in the winter.
The harvest does not stop just because it gets cold. Frost-resistant crops like kale, spinach, leeks, and carrots keep your garden productive right through the chilliest months. In fact, some crops, like kale and parsnips, actually taste sweeter after a good frost.
For those extra cold nights, you can give your plants a little bit of added protection. Simple tools like garden fleece, cold frames, or row covers can shield your crops from a heavy frost, helping them survive and continue to grow strong.
Now, while a food forest is low maintenance, it's not no maintenance. The work just changes from that back-breaking labor to more of a gentle stewardship. You'll prune your trees, monitor the soil health, and add organic matter when needed. It's way more about observing and guiding the ecosystem than it is about constant intervention. You can also invite some help. By planting flowers and herbs, you'll attract bees, butterflies, and other pollinators. These insects are basically a free, highly efficient workforce that will dramatically improve the pollination of your crops and boost your overall yield.
And this is the ultimate payoff. After all the planning and the planting, you get to enjoy the incredible abundance that comes from a healthy, year-round harvest.
I absolutely love this way of thinking about winter gardening. Root vegetables act as your living refrigerator. Isn't that brilliant? It means you don't have to harvest all your carrots and parsnips at once. You can just leave them right there in the ground, insulated by the soil, and pull them out as you need them, all winter long.
The harvesting strategy itself is super simple and efficient. Just pick your crops as they mature. You can store hardy veggies like roots and cabbages right in the garden or in a cool spot. And for any surplus you might have, you can freeze it, can it, or dry it to enjoy that taste of your garden throughout the entire year.
So, from a simple plan to a thriving, productive ecosystem, the food forest is just an amazing way to reconnect with both nature and your food. It's a garden that gives back far, far more than it takes. So the only question left is, are you ready to plant your own?